Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our Homeland Security Training Institute Zoomcast, we're calling them. Zoomcast because as we're sheltered in place, we're not able to go into the multimedia studio on campus and do our regular podcasts. So we've been doing Zoomcasts and talking to people who are teaching various classes for us and letting you know what's going on at the Homeland Security Training Institute. I'm Tom Brady, the Associate Dean for the Homeland Security Training Institute. And joining me today is my good friend, Cedric Cemel. Cedric is an information technology specialist at the College of DuPage. He's also an adjunct faculty member for our UAV Unmanned Aerial Vehicle or drone program. And we're going to talk about that today. Hey, Cedric, welcome to the program.
Hi, Tom. Thanks for having me, and thanks for the wonderful introduction.
Good.
Let's have some fun today.
Yeah, let's absolutely do that. Now, you're a UAV pilot, and you teach in the UAV program under the Homeland Security Training Institute. Tell us a little bit about how you became interested in drones and how long you've been a pilot.
Sure. Well, I've been kind of interested in drones for a few years now. But when the college decided that we were going to be teaching on this subject, I was really excited, and I knew that I had to be a part of it. So we've been teaching for the last 2.5 years or so.
Yeah, and it's become obviously a pretty successful program. We've had a lot of people go through it, civilians as well as law enforcement officers and public works employees. We've had a lot of different people go through the program. I want to talk specifically about a class that we have coming up, and it's called Introduction to Piloting Drones. It's a one-day class. Could you tell us about that class and what someone could expect to do while they take that class?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So first off, we have 2 classes that were coming up in the near future. June 25th and July 30th are our next 2 classes, and you can verify those dates at our website, which is cod.edu/HSTI. What we do in that class is we have some fun, for sure. But we start off in the classroom and we give you a little brief overview of the FAA rules, some regulations, the airspace, and a little bit on weather. And then we do my favorite part, which is flying.
Wow. Get to fly in the class. Now, do you have to be a UAV pilot to take that class?
Oh, no. We take people who are completely ignorant to any sort of drones at all, and we give you all of the education that you need to fly a drone. We provide all of the equipment, and you see here on the table, I have 2 of our 8 drones, and these are typically the ones that we'll use in class.
Okay, well, do you want to, the equipment looks really cool. You know, I'm sitting there and I like the way that looks. I mean, it interests me. Are you sure you want to put those things in my hands if I've never flown one before? I mean, what can you tell about people getting comfortable with controlling one of these?
Good point. And absolutely, I have complete faith in giving you the controller. We've done this with a lot of students, as you've mentioned, and basically these are very, very safe if used properly. They're very safe drones. Each of these are quadcopters, so we have 4 propellers on each of these, and they've got controllers that go with them that will connect and practically can fly themselves. You see here, it's got a tablet attached to it. The tablet is showing the picture of what's on that camera, and the camera is mounted right below here.
Okay.
So both of these drones are the same thing. This one has got its tablet, and it's connected to the controller using this cable, and then it connects to the drone. And in this case, the camera is right up front here on this Parrot Bebop.
Well, they look obviously different. Can you tell us who manufactures these drones?
Sure. Yeah. So starting off with the Parrot, this is a French company. Parrot Bebop makes, or Parrot Company makes an entry level, which is one step below this. We come to the Bebop, and then we've got a huge gap where we go to their industrial drone, and that one has been designed and sold to do things like bridge inspections for Illinois or other states. This one here is made by DJI. It's got a label right on the front there. It's a Chinese company. This particular drone is called the Phantom 4, and it is the most popular drone in the U.S.
Oh, really? Most popular, huh? Does DJI make a lot of different models, or is that the only one they make?
Oh no, absolutely. They make all sorts of ones. They make smaller ones than the Bebop, as a matter of fact, where the arms will fold in and the propellers will fold, and it's so small that you can put it in your cargo pocket of your pants. And they make things as large as 3 feet across that can carry a heavier payload. And we do have one of those in our fleet.
That's tremendous. Will these two drones that you're showing will be used in the introduction to piloting drone class?
Oh, absolutely, yes. These are probably the simplest of drones to use, and that's why we primarily will use these two drones. They've got autopilot on them. They've got such a wonderful, simple interface where you use the controller, and with two joysticks, you can make it do anything you want, or you can program on the tablet a flight, and you sit go. The drone will take off, it will do its flight pattern, and it will come down almost where it took off from, all automated.
That's amazing. How fast can these both fly, Cedric?
Wow, that's a good question. So each of these have got their own different characteristics, and based on the wind condition, the atmospheric conditions, I think this one will go about 27 miles an hour, and this one will go maybe just a little under that.
Okay. And you said that they have different characteristics. I know that Bebop that has another piece of equipment there sitting on your table. Can you talk about that?
Absolutely. The Parrot Bebop is one of my favorite drones, and what makes it into my favorite drone is the first-person view goggles. We supply the smartphone that you insert into the side here, and then you put the first-person view goggles on, and then that puts you in the pilot seat of this aircraft. So you'll be seeing the view of the aircraft from this camera up front. So as it's flying around, you're wearing these first-person view goggles. It makes you feel like you're in the aircraft itself.
That's amazing. So you're flying that, and you're actually, it looks like you're a passenger, and you're flying around looking at it from inside the drone perspective.
Yes, you're right up front where the pilot would be, and you have complete control over what the aircraft does by these two spring-loaded joysticks.
Well, it looks like it's rather it's designed rather for people for simplicity. It doesn't look like there's a lot of them, and maybe I'm missing it, but it doesn't look like got too many bells and whistles. Like after you take a class such as Introduction to Piloting Drones, you'll come out of that class with you'll be pretty comfortable with these. Would someone then be interested possibly in purchasing their own and have that have the class as a background?
Absolutely. Part of the things that we do in the class is we give you a brief overview of how all of these work, how you put it together, how you get everything up in the air, and then we talk about other types of drones. Depending on what your mission is or what your objectives are, you can either have fun with these or you can put them to business use. And we will teach you about those, or we will introduce different business uses for it. And we'll give you a good idea of what you might want to purchase depending on your interest in the future.
Is there
Thereafter, you can take our next class, which is a class designed to get you your license, your pilot's license, and then you'll be authorized by the FAA to fly these for business purposes.
So to fly it for business, you have to have a license from the FAA, and the Homeland Security Training Institute has a class that will get you through that. Is that a one-day class, or is that longer?
Yeah, we will get you through it. It will depend upon whether you're law enforcement, a first responder, or a civilian as to the length of the class. The law enforcement class is 40 hours long, and the civilian class is 1 day less. So it's a 4-day long class.
Okay. And in those classes, do you also do a lot of flying, I hope?
We do fly in those classes. Unfortunately, you get more fly time in this class here. A 1-day class will get you 3 times of flying. The third time you fly is a challenge to see how much you've learned in the other previous 2 flights. Whereas in the Part 107, which is the pilot's license, what that's called by the FAA, is we only get to fly 2 times. That's because the thrust of the class is to get you authorized to fly, and then secondary is teaching you how to fly.
Sure, that makes sense. So you talked about law enforcement, you talked about private businesses that may be using these. What type of occupations, other than law enforcement, would drones be used for? I mean, I heard, stories of Amazon delivering product or pizza deliveries or things like that. What are some, do you know some industries right now that are using drones in their operations?
Absolutely. Worldwide, deliveries with drones have been going on for at least 3 years. UPS has been involved in it. And during this pandemic situation that we're in now, UPS and CVS Pharmacy have begun delivering test kits and medical supplies to nursing homes. Besides that, in North Carolina, they've been flying tests of whether people have COVID or not from the main testing facility to their laboratory, and then that eliminates, I don't know, a half an hour of running around and driving. So they are being utilized right now to save lives as well.
Yeah, that's tremendous use of this equipment. I've been holding out, hoping that Portillo's starts delivering using drones at some point, but we'll have to wait and see about that. Cedric, one question I had for you, from your perspective as a UAV pilot, what is the most important factor, a rule for being a drone pilot? I'm sure there's a lot of safety that goes into this course, and there's regulations you have to adhere to. What is the most important thing for somebody who doesn't know much about drones that they should know by taking this class?
Sure. Great question. So just as you mentioned, the most important thing to me, and I stress this in all of my classes, the most important thing is safety. Know where your drone is flying. Being able to control that drone so it doesn't fly over anybody else and possibly hurt them. Another very important factor is we don't want to get into the way of any real aircraft, because that would be a disaster if that happened. We all probably remember what happened with Gatwick Airport in England being shut down for 3 days because someone was just out taking a joyride with their drone.
Well, there's a lot of great information that people can get from this class, and I want to thank you, Cedric, for taking time to show us some of the equipment and to talk about that class. The class, again, is Introduction to Piloting Drones. You want to talk about those dates again real fast?
Yeah, the 2 upcoming classes we have are June 25th and July 30th. But take a look at our website at cod.edu/HSTI and look for the classes that are named UAV.
Fantastic. Cedric, thank you so much for participating today. I really appreciate your time, and this is a great program, and I wish you the best, and hope that you stay safe.
Thank you much. I love the drones. I love talking about technology. Anytime you want to do it, I'd be happy to do it.
All right, Cedric, you take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.